Good morning, everybody. So this video is a long time in the making. Finally getting our video of the Wish, a full tour of the Wish. There was a ton of footage to go through, so finally got it down to a reasonable sized video. So without further ado, enjoy a full tour of the Disney Wish. Starting in deck 1 in the aft, we have two tender lobbies on either side of the elevator shaft. Heading over to the forward of deck 1, we also have the health center, so let's head over there. So in deck 1 forward, there is once again a tender lobby on either side of the ship, but on the port side, there's also the health center. So walking towards the port side, first we come across the tender lobby here on the right, and then through this yellow door is the health center. And that completes deck 1. Deck 2 is mostly rooms except for the kids clubs. So in the aft, we have the It's a Small World Nursery, followed by the Disney Oceaneer Club. And then all the way forward, we also have the theater entrance for the accessible entrance. The rest of deck 2 is all rooms, so let's check out the kids clubs. So from the aft elevator shaft, we are turning to our right and heading on the port side of the ship, following the signs for the Oceaneers Club. The first kids club we come to is the It's a Small World Nursery. This whimsical daycare center, inspired by the beloved Disney attraction, little cruisers 6 months to 3 years of age can relax and play while being looked after by specially trained counselors and visited by some special Disney friends. I absolutely love the artwork in this section. I love all the Mary Blair inspired designs of different characters. Just super, super cute. Really enjoyed walking through this and seeing this. Moving past the Small World Nursery, you can kind of tell where you are in the kids club area based on the walls. So all of the walls are decorated to kind of mimic what's on the other side of the wall. So first we have the nursery, followed by the captain's deck. The next section is the Mickey and Minnie captain's deck. This is designed for the littlest cruisers. This nautically themed space is complete with activities and games, including pipe slides, ship's wheels, and more. Plus, for even more fun, kids can hang out with Captain Mickey and Captain Minnie when they stop by. Next up, we have the Fairy Tale Hall. For your little princes and princesses, check out Fairy Tale Hall, where you can create your own storybook memories. Step inside a classic fairy tale setting, come to life, and enjoy special visits from Disney princesses and frozen queens themselves. Inside Fairy Tale Hall, young royals can craft floating lanterns at Rapunzel's art studio, act out their favorite stories in Belle's library, and even create their own ice magic at Elsa and Anna's summer house. Happily ever after on the high seas indeed. And beyond Fairy Tale Hall, we have kind of the main entrance to the kids club. So all the kids clubs are connected to each other on the inside. And we have the slide that leads from the main atrium down to the main entrance of the kids club. So the Oceaneer Club is for ages 3 to 12, and the Small World Nursery is for ages 6 months to 3 years. Next up on the walls, we have the Star Wars themed. So this is the Star Wars Cargo Bay. At Star Wars Cargo Bay, kids can enter the Star Wars universe. Ready to support the Resistance? Join Rey and Chewbacca in this first-of-its-kind immersive experience set on board a starship. Star Wars Galactic Creature Keepers is a fun-filled adventure at Star Wars Cargo Bay, where kids step into highly interactive space modeled after high-tech Cargo Bay. They're put to the test as they feed lifelike interactive creatures and encounter some of the most dangerous beings in the galaxy. With the help of Rey and Chewbacca, they channel the Force to secure the ship. And then the last section down here is Marvel themed, of course, so this is where we have the Marvel Superhero Academy. In Marvel Superhero Academy, young Avengers stand ready. Children ages 3 to 12 are invited to spring into action and train alongside some of their favorite Marvel superheroes, including Spider-Man, Black Panther, Ant-Man, and the Wasp. Inside the sleek headquarters, kids can unleash the hero within as they team up and select their very own supersuit, and then put it to the test in a battle with some infamous villains of the Marvel Universe. The other section that's not pictured on the outside is the Imagineering Lab, since it's more internal. In the Walt Disney Imagineering Lab, kids can become a Disney Imagineer. Imagine what it would be like to create your own Disney attraction. At Walt Disney Imagineering Lab, kids can do just that. Through exciting hands-on activities, children will get a unique behind-the-scenes peek and discover how Disney magic is made. Kids can also tap into their own imaginations and design their very own roller coaster in the style of attraction classics like Big Thunder Mountain and Space Mountain, and climb into a specially designed capsule to actually ride it. This area was super cool. The adults really seem to like this area too, because there's a lot of artifacts from different parks, and the kids seem to really enjoy the design your own roller coaster aspect. So very cool section of the Oceaneer Club. And moving past the kids clubs, we have more rooms. And down this hall at the very end is the accessible entrance to the theater, which is closed at the moment because there is no show going on, but up on the right here we have the forward elevator shaft for deck 2. So that will do it for deck 2. On to deck 3. Deck 3 begins where we need to start making some loops. So starting in the forward of deck 3, first we have the Walt Disney Theater, and this is where they show the Broadway style shows every night, so Little Mermaid, Aladdin, and Disney Sees the Adventure. And now moving on the starboard side of the ship toward the aft, we've passed the Three Wishes and Once Upon a Time and Royal Regalia and Enchanted Castle Jewels. Now all of these are the kind of fancier shops aboard the Disney Wish for jewelry, watches, handbags, etc. And in the middle of the ship we have the Bayou. And the Bayou is an informal lounge on the Disney Wish offering a New Orleans-inspired good time themed to Disney Animation Studios' The Princess and the Frog. This centrally located venue offers cocktails, specialty coffees, and signature beignets in a lively social atmosphere, complete with live entertainment. And moving through the Bayou, heading back forward on the ship, now on the port side, we have Treasures Untold, which is again another jewelry store featuring some Pandora, as well as some other sunglasses and other pieces of jewelry. Beyond that is the Walt Disney Theater, and turning around, heading back aft now on the port side of the ship, we come across the Star Wars Hyperspace Lounge. In the Star Wars Hyperspace Lounge, you can sip on stellar libations as you embark on an adult-exclusive space-hopping tour of a galaxy far, far away. Gather your crew and prepare to transport to the legendary destinations of the Republic, Empire, and First Order. Inspired by lavish star cruisers, this Hyperspace Lounge offers a richly themed immersive experience for adults every evening, with interactive tasting experiences and signature cocktails inspired by the Star Wars saga. While relaxing over refreshing galactic concoctions, experience hyperspace jumps to several planets in the Star Wars universe to take in epic views, ranging from serene vistas to action-packed encounters. Moving past the Hyperspace Lounge, continuing aft on the port side of the ship, next we come across Nightingales, which is another bar. This is a refined piano bar inspired by Cinderella's lyrical rendition of Sing Sweet Nightingale in the 1950 film, and offers an extensive menu of fine wines, bubblies, and handcrafted cocktails. And continuing past Nightingale's bar, still on the port side of the ship, heading aft, we come into the main atrium, which is called the Grand Hall on the Disney Wish, and we have the Cinderella statue featuring Gus Gus and Jacques underneath her dress, with Lucifer trying to capture them. There's also some elements including the Cinderella's glass slipper near the staircase, and behind the statue is the entrance to the Oceaneer Club. There's actually a slide from the main atrium, the Grand Hall, down to the Kids Club itself. And in the open houses, adults can ride down the slide too. And continuing aft again, past the Oceaneer Club entrance, we come across some different memorabilia and artifacts on our right for the design concept of the Disney Wish before coming to 1923 Restaurant. 1923 is the more upscale dining aboard the Disney Wish. Named for the year the Walt Disney Company was founded, 1923 celebrates the golden age of animation. Indulge your senses with the best of California cuisine, inspired by the fusion of cultural flavors found throughout the Golden State. 1923 features a diverse menu, showcasing the region's unique blend of Asian, European, and South American influences. Dishes are prepared with a bounty of sunshine-infused ingredients like wild honey, earthly pistachios, and gloriously fresh fruits and veggies bursting with flavor. All paired, of course, with a fine selection of wines from California's world-renowned Napa Valley. Step back in time to the early beginnings of the world's oldest-running animation studio, the Walt Disney Company. Combining classic Hollywood glamour with a dash of Disney whimsy, 1923 commemorates the year the legendary animation studio was founded in Southern California, with 2 lavishly appointed dining rooms aptly named Walt and Roy after the 2 brothers behind the magic that started it all. 1923 provides a captivating look inside the evolution of Disney animation, from Snow White and Seven Dwarfs to Frozen 2. Here, guests can settle into the relaxed elegance of California's yesteryear while marveling at over 1,000 drawings, props, and other tools of the animation trade. And turning from the 1923 restaurants, we have some extra memorabilia and props in the main atrium, as well as the main atrium itself. And then between the 2 dining room entrances and across from the main atrium near the Cinderella statue is the hallway that leads to the aft elevator lobby on deck 3. So this will conclude the tour of deck 3 on to deck 4. For the loop around the aft of deck 4, starting with Worlds of Marvel, which is directly aft from the aft elevator shaft, Worlds of Marble is one of the rotational dining restaurants aboard the Disney Wish, and this restaurant is basically replacing the Animator's Palette-esque restaurants from the other ships in the fact that it is more interactive, and there are screens all over the restaurant to make it more of a dinner and a show. And this show is hosted by Ant-Man and the Wasp to showcase all of the new quantum tech. And when things don't necessarily go as planned, some other Marvel friends stop by to help out. Now, this was one of our favorites as far as the food goes. We really enjoyed what we had here, from appetizer all the way to dessert. The show aspect was also very cute, and we enjoyed that. And also enjoyed the fact that there's even a character encounter when we have Ant-Man and the Wasp walk around the restaurant. Not necessarily doing a meet and greet, but they do wave and say hello. Moving starboard side from the aft elevator shaft, down this hallway to our right up here leads to Worlds of Marble. Turning to our left, passes by Hook's Barbary. Hook's Barbary was one of my favorite locations aboard the Disney Wish. This is a full-service barbershop by day, and every evening they also have a fully stocked bourbon/old-fashioned bar. Now, I was unable to get a reservation for the barbershop itself, but luckily you do not need a reservation to order a drink. So you can get any old-fashioned you'd like, customized to your type of bourbon, any kind of flavors you'd like. So as per the recommendation of the cast member here, I ordered a chili chocolate old-fashioned using Blanton's bourbon, and I must say this was by far the best old-fashioned I've ever had. He smoked the glass right in front of me and even topped it off with bourbon perfume. This was absolutely delicious. 10 out of 10 would recommend. We'll definitely be going back here next time we are aboard the Disney Wish. Continuing moving on the starboard side, down deck 4, we come across different portraits, which leads to the Wishing Star Cafe, which is one of the coffee shops themed after Pinocchio. Continuing to move around in our circle, on the port side of the ship now is the Untangled Salon. We were unable to grab a reservation here for Hannah. However, as the name suggests, this is the salon aboard the ship. On all the other ships, the salon is part of the Senses Spa. However, this one is separated, and this one is themed to Rapunzel. Continuing down this hallway straight ahead is Worlds of Marble, so that completes our loop. To finish out deck 4, we're actually going to start midship with our back to the Wishing Star Cafe. And moving on the starboard side, the first thing we come across on the right-hand side is the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, which is the place where your little prince or princess can get a full makeover, complete with costume and salon experience for an additional charge. The Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique on the Disney Wish is significantly larger than the other ships, and it is absolutely beautiful inside. Continuing past the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, on the right-hand side, starboard side, is the DVC desk, and then across the Grand Hall from the DVC desk is the guest services desks. Continuing to move forward on the starboard side, we come across the upper level of the Luna Lounge on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, we have the Neverland Cinema. The Neverland Cinema is one of 2 movie theaters aboard the Disney Wish, and this one is obviously themed to Peter Pan, complete with light fixtures that resemble Tinkerbell, and some key moments of the movie in the walls and on the backs of the chairs. Moving down this hallway in between, we come across Luna's Libations, which is kind of a bar / popcorn / like movie snacks, and on the other side of that is the Wonderland Cinema. The Wonderland Cinema is the second movie theater aboard the Disney Wish, themed after Alice in Wonderland, with details down to the doorknob even. And inside the theater, we have the backs of the chairs to resemble all the playing cards for the Queen of Hearts, and the light fixtures on the wall in here resemble the Cheshire Cat. Now moving on the port side, continuing to move forward, the very end of this hallway is the balcony level of the Walt Disney Theater. And finally, we end up in the forward elevator shaft for deck 4, which completes deck 4 on to deck 5. On deck 5, in the aft, we're going to start with some loops. So we're going to start going on the port side, working our way forward and looping around past the Grand Hall and back to Edge, ending up in the aft lobby. So moving out of the elevator shaft to the port side of the ship, To our left up here is Arendelle. Arendelle is the third and final rotational dining restaurant aboard the Disney Wish, and as the name would have suggested, this is themed after Frozen. So the entire restaurant, including the hallway leading up to it, is full of different portraits and artwork and props from the movies that you might have recognized. As for the restaurant itself, this is more of a dinner show, so there is an entertainment aspect to your meal, where there'll be musicians and characters that come out and sing all your favorite songs from Frozen 1 and Frozen 2. And trust me, you never knew how much you wanted to hear Into the Unknown on violin until you got in this restaurant. It was fantastic. The show was incredible. As for the food, this was not our favorite. The baked scallop appetizer was delicious, but otherwise the appetizers and entrees were not that great here. The redeemable factor was the desserts. There were a couple of shining stars and at least some interesting aspects since this is kind of themed towards Nordic cuisine. Moving past Arendelle with Arendelle to our back, on the left up here we have Mickey's Mainsail, which is the largest shop aboard the ship. This is kind of your one-stop shop for all things Disney Cruise, including Marvel and Frozen to go with the restaurants. And this shop expands for quite a bit all the way down to the Grand Hall. So there are several entrances to the shop. And then on the right up here, we have the Enchanted Sword Cafe. Now I did get a chance to try out one of the coffees here. This cafe is themed to Sword in the Stone, and the coffee here was quite delicious. You could even get one with an imprint on the top. The machine wasn't working quite right, but I do have a Disney Wish logo on the top of mine. Moving past the Enchanted Sword Cafe, we have the Shutter's Portrait Studio and the gallery on our left up here, where you can view all the photos from your cruise as well as schedule a private portrait session for an additional charge. And then continuing down this hallway past all the photo kiosks on our left, where you can view your photos from the cruise. At the end of the hallway, we have the Edge Teen Club. The Edge Club is for kids age 11 to 14. And this club is rather small compared to the other clubs aboard the ship, with a foosball table and some TVs and video games. The kids that were here seem to be having a lot of fun. I do like the aesthetic of this club, very bright with the kind of skylight aspect to it. Lots of Animations on the walls as well, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, overall, a very cool place to hang out. Okay, and back at the map, so we saw the Enchanted Sword Cafe and back. So I'll start with my back to Enchanted Sword Cafe and work our way forward. So with my back to the Enchanted Sword Cafe, on the left we have more of those kiosks for shutters, and on the right we have the Disney Vacation Club kiosk, which on this ship is actually a whole office area. So if you want to have a private session with a Disney Vacation Club guide, you can set up a private meeting with them. And turning to my left, we have the Grand Hall. So I am on the top floor of the Grand Hall right now. Currently have Mickey meeting downstairs. And from here, it's probably easiest to just point things out from around here. The doors on the left-hand side up there are still Mickey's Mainsail, the gift shop. And then turning to my left is the Ported Adventures desk on the left-hand side and the Disney Vacation Planning desk on the right-hand side if you have any Disney Vacation Planning needs, as well as some seating by the windows. So we're going to continue on the port side past Mickey's Mainsail. Here we actually have some of the artwork that is for sale if you want to buy any Disney art while you are on board. And here are the kiosks to see and buy all the art on demand. And then turning around once again and continuing to head forward, we have coming up on the right the Royal Studio, which I believe is another one of the portrait studios you can book for private portrait sessions. And continuing back here, we have Luna, which is one of the two-story entertainment venues where they have like Match Your Mate and whatnot. And continuing forward, we have Keg and Compass, which is a bar themed to all the Nordic elements and just kind of seafaring stuff. This is also the sports bar slash pub of the ship. Continuing around Luna, Luna is to our right. Up here on the left, we have the Triton Lounge, which is a much smaller entertainment venue where they can host different like karaoke's and game shows. Looks like today they have some trivia, game show, and karaoke later. And then continuing around Luna with Luna to my right still. Up ahead we have the Port Adventures desk and vacation planning desk at the very end of the hallway, and the grand hall is up there on the right. But coming up on our right here is the Disney studio. So again, another private portrait session studio similar to the Royal Studio. And coming back again past Triton Lounge to my right and Luna to my left, we come up to the forward elevators. So if we go through the forward elevator shaft, we come up to the spa. So the spa is actually divided up here. So on the right, we have the Senses Fitness Center, as well as an additional door to the Triton Lounge. And I'll put a clip to the fitness center right here. And turning around from the fitness center, on the left we have the Senses Spa. We got a chance to tour the spa as well, so I'll put a clip of that one right here.
So this is the rainforest. We open by 8 in the morning because by 10 o'clock is a private relaxation area. We have lots of facilities inside. It's only adults, yeah, and it's 166 per person for the whole cruise.
Okay.
In the three sections, we have hot water, cold water, and sparkling water. On the other side, we have toilets, and still we have extra towels over here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
On the side, we have rain showers, and also we have a cafe over there. So this is the cafeteria.
Oh wow.
So I'm going to take you to the outdoor area.
And then to explore a little bit outside on deck 5/deck 6, we're going to head outside here next to the fitness center and first take in the beautiful views of Castaway Cay. And now we're going to turn to our left and head to the very, very front of the ship. So down this pathway, so up these stairs heads to the very front of the ship, but we're going to head down this hallway here to see where this goes, and it is a dead end. So now back to these stairs and heading up the stairs, we are in the very front of the ship. So you can look over to the left over the railing and see the rainforest room of the Senses Spa. But the Disney Wish is the only ship in the Disney fleet that you can actually stand in the very front of the ship. So very cool views from up here. It is open at all times because I was up here watching us pull into Nassau as well. But yeah, very cool views from up here for sure. And you can see the captain's deck and everything. So continuing around, we're going to head on the opposite side of the ship now, so the port side of the ship. and head down the stairs here because there is something on this side that is not on the other side. So down these stairs, which look very similar to the ones on the starboard side of the ship, and now turning to go just behind the stairs, and behind the stairs we have Pluto's Corner. So if you have any service animals aboard the ship, this is where you can take them to use the bathroom. But down this way, just like the other side, is a dead end, but here we have Pluto's Corner tucked away, and this is on the starboard side of deck 5, kind of off of the Senses Spa. So now just to finish our loop, we're going to head down this hallway back to the Senses Spa. And that will complete deck 5/deck 6 for the front of the ship onto the inside of deck 6. The next few decks are mostly rooms, so we can skip through those pretty quickly. Deck 6 is all rooms, so that completes this deck. On to deck 7. Deck 7 is also all rooms, so that completes this deck. On to deck 8. Now we are in the aft of deck 8, and deck 8 is mostly rooms, except for the laundry room just off of the forward elevators. So let's head over to the forward elevator shaft. So now we are in the forward lobby of deck 8, so let's check out the Fairy Tale Fresh Laundry, which is the only laundry room aboard the Disney Wish. So from the elevator shaft, heading through these double doors here, we enter the Fairy Tale Fresh Laundry. Now most of the other ships have several laundry rooms that are much smaller. The Disney Wish has one large laundry room for the entire ship. The first thing you come across when entering the Fairy Tale Fresh Laundry is some different soap centers where you can purchase different laundry soaps. I did not check the price of these laundry soaps, nor did I check the price of what it costs to wash or dry any loads of laundry. I do know that the iron and ironing boards are free to use for the duration of your cruise. And there are several washers and dryers lining the walls. And from what I could tell, there are 26 washers and 30 dryers available to use. So very handy, very large laundry room. Very surprised how big this was when I first walked in. And as I said before, other than the laundry room, the rest of deck 8 is all rooms, so that will complete deck 8. Deck 9 is once again all rooms, so that completes this deck. On to deck 10. And deck 10 is also all rooms, and this is the last deck to be all rooms, so on to deck 11. So deck 11 is a little bit different. We're going to make two big loops. So starting on that map below, kind of midship, or on the starboard side, with Inside Out Joyful Suites. Inside Out Joyful Suites is the sweet shop aboard the Disney Wish, and everything in here looked absolutely delicious. This is all an extra charge, so that is something to keep in mind, but the entire sweet shop is themed to, as the name would suggest, Inside Out. So lots of colors, love the view from up here as well. Lots of homemade gelatos and ice creams available, and lots of different yummy looking sweets as well, including some that are specific to Inside Out with some memory orbs themed to the different characters of Inside Out, as well as your classic Disney Cruise cupcakes and macarons, and some other yummy goodies. And now with our back to Joyful Suites, we're going to continue to move on the starboard side of the ship, moving forward, and we come across the kind of main pool area, so that we have some pool bars, and then some various levels of the pools. So this first pool is Minnie's Pool right here. The tier level of the pools is very unique to the Disney Wish, and I will say that I wasn't too sure how I felt about them because they are smaller pools, but there are more of them. But for the live performances on the stage, they would have, a lot of people would just be sitting in the pool watching the performance rather than just standing on the main deck. So people seem to enjoy it. We didn't really take advantage of these pools, but it did seem to go over well overall. And then moving up the stairs, we have Pluto's and Daisy's pool, with Pluto's being on the starboard side and Daisy's being the same exact pool on the port side. And then just to complete all the pool levels, on the very top level, we have Goofy's pool on the starboard side, and on the port side, we have Donald's pool. So continuing past Minnie's pool, now on the port side, and continuing to the aft of the ship, we come across the shop that is opposite of Inside Out's Joyful Suites. This is Dory's Forget-Me-Nots. Dory's Forget-Me-Nots is a little more pool-centric of a store with mostly t-shirts, and we also have like pool towels and hats and goggles and sunscreen in case you forgot those as well. And then lastly, kind of in the very aft of deck 11, we have Marceline Market. Marceline Market is the go-to all-you-can-eat buffet aboard the Disney Wish for your breakfast and lunch desires. Discover an ever-changing menu of specialized offerings at Marceline Market, aimed for Walt Disney's early childhood home in Missouri. Choose from our 10 food stations and a cafe-style beverage bar with both indoor and outdoor seating available. Enjoy a walk-around experience for breakfast and lunch, and table service at dinner time. This was quite delicious. I did like the fact that there was POG juice available, the passion fruit, orange, and guava juice that's available at Walt Disney World as well. There were also some more adventurous offerings here that were not offered on the Fantasy. So overall, we'll definitely check out Marceline Market. And then to complete deck 11, let's flip over to midship again with Minnie's Pool to our back. Straight ahead, we have the large funnel vision screen where they would play movies all day long. And right in front of that is the stage where they would do all of the shows, the sail away party, etc. But when it's not being used as a stage, it's actually Mickey's Pool. So continuing past Mickey's Pool on the starboard side of the ship, now moving forward, we come across our beverage station, which is the 24-hour beverage station for all your soda or coffee needs. And then we come across the Lookout, which is the pool bar in this area, before heading into Mickey's Festival of Foods. So first up, we have Sweet Minnie's Ice Cream for your all-you-can-eat ice cream, which is quite delicious, and definitely recommend checking that out throughout your cruise. The next booth at Mickey's Festival of Foods is Goofy's Grill, which serves some burgers and hot dogs and brats and chicken tenders. And then the next booth is Mickey's Smokestack Barbecue, which this one was quite delicious. Highly recommend checking this one out. We had this on day one, so go check out our day one video. I had this one and Hannah had one from a different booth. They're both quite delicious. So the next booth is Daisy's Pizza Pies. And then the last booth over here, which is the one that Hannah had some food from, was Donald's Cantina, which is essentially like your Chipotle-style, buildable Mexican-themed restaurant. And then past the Mickey's Festival of Foods, now we're on the port side, moving aft, we come across another beverage station for your coffee and soda needs before heading back to the midship area by Mickey and Minnie's Pool. And then from Mickey's Smokestack Barbecue, moving forward, we only have the forward elevator lobby, and then the rest of this floor is rooms. So that will complete deck 11 on to deck 12. Next up is deck 12. So starting in the aft, there are a few things to check out back here. So starting with the port side of the ship, we have the adult dining areas. So through these double doors over here, we have the Rose Bar, as well as Enchanted and Palo Steakhouse. So the entire adult dining area is themed after Beauty and the Beast. So first up is the Rose, where you can sip a cocktail surrounded by antique mirrors and floating rose petals at this elegant adult-exclusive lounge reminiscent of the Enchanted Castle from Beauty and the Beast. We really enjoyed this bar. There were some great views from up there, lots of windows, so lots of natural light. It's also pretty crowded, but we went right before the showtime. And as far as the menu goes, we really enjoyed our drinks we got up here, and we were also surprised by the sommelier bin as an option. So this is $11, and they just kind of pick a wine for you. But if you are not picky with your wines, this is a great option. I ended up getting a almost $30 glass of wine for $11. And moving through the Rose Bar, straight ahead is Palo Steakhouse. Now, we did not get to dine here this cruise, so we did not get to go inside, unfortunately. And then to the left up here is Enchanted, which is the kind of French-inspired restaurant aboard the Disney Wish. And again, we did not get to dine here either, so we were unable to go inside and take a look around. And turning around from the adult dining areas and heading to the starboard side of the ship, now in the aft of deck 12. First up, straight in front of us, we have the Vibe, which is one of the kids' clubs. At Vibe, teens aged 14 to 17 can meet new friends, watch movies, play games, and participate in activities created just for them. Inspired by a Parisian artist's loft, this stylish space features classic architectural elements with an electric retro twist, including vibrant neon signs and funky pop art. Combine those with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the ocean, and every angle and vibe offers a selfie-worthy backdrop for the trendiest teens on the high seas. Also connected to Vibe is the Hideaway Bar, which is shared with Vibe, but there is a wall to separate it if needed. And this is where kids can go to get smoothies or other non-alcoholic beverages. This can also be used as a hangout space for the guests 18 to 20 range, as well as for private events and adult beverage seminars. Turning and heading more aft, the blue hallway is the Hero Zone, the first level of the Hero Zone. The Hero Zone is basically your sports courts that have moved indoors for the Disney Wish. This is a 2-story sports arena that they have set up for the Incredigames shown here, which is an inflatable obstacle course. And on the second floor, they have some seating as well as some foosball table and air hockey. And down this stairwell here leads back to Marceline Market on deck 11. So that was the aft of deck 12. We are back in the aft elevator lobby, now heading forward on the outside, really just on the port side of the ship since there's not much on the starboard side that we have not covered. Past Donald's Pool, now almost to the forward of the ship, we come across this really fun slide that is themed to Toy Story, as well as the Splash Zone area. So first up, we have the Slidosaurus Rex. And next to Slidosaurus Rex, we have the Toy Story Splash Zone, which is super cute. Looked like tons of fun. The kids that were playing in here looked like they were having a blast. And there's also a little pool up here, Trixies Pool. And opposite Trixies Pool, keeping with the Toy Story theme, we have Wheezy's Freezies, which is where you can get snow cones and slushies and smoothies throughout your cruise, but these are an additional charge. And the rest of deck 12 is rooms and concierge lounge, which we do not have access to. So that will do it for deck 12 on to deck 13. Deck 13 forward only has the concierge rooms and the concierge sun deck, which we cannot access. So let's head over to deck 13 aft and check out the Aqua Mouse and the adult areas. So as a reference, these glass doors in front of us is the deck 12 aft elevator shaft. And up the stairs to our right is the Aqua Mouse. Now, the Aqua Mouse is Disney's first attraction at sea, combining elements of a traditional water roller coaster with some show elements that are reminiscent of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, that kind of animation style, and some water effects as well. Very, very cute. Kind of tells a story as you go up the slide, and then coming down the slide is the coaster effect. So very cool, very cute ride, and highly recommend checking it out. And up the stairs to our left leads to the adult sun deck and the adult pool area, so let's check it out. So at the top of the stairs is the adult sun deck area, lots of chairs, lots of very fancy padded chairs. And continuing down this way past the Aqua Mouse slide, you come across the Quiet Cove Whirlpool, which is kind of separate from the rest of the adult area, so very quiet, very secluded over here. Continuing down this pathway all the way at the end, all the way aft on deck 13, we have the Quiet Cove Pool. So this is the exclusive adult area as far as pools go. It was a bit rowdy when we were here to check it out. We did check it out on Castaway Cay Day, but I will say the views from up here are phenomenal, especially in Castaway Cay when the ship is backed into port. The views are just breathtaking. Absolutely love it back here. There's also plenty of seating as well as a pool bar for you to enjoy any kind of adult beverages by the pool with these amazing views. And then connected to the Quiet Cove area is the Cove Cafe. So following right around this walkway here leads us to the Cove Cafe. Now, the Cove Cafe is yet another coffee shop aboard the Disney Wish, so all the coffee here is an additional charge. I will say I prefer the Cove Cafe on the Fantasy. I have not experienced it on any other ship yet, but on the Fantasy they also have some snacks that are complimentary. This one is exclusively drinks only, so I do miss the snacks, but the drinks here were also very good. And then the last part for this area of the ship is actually on deck 14, but you can only access it from deck 13. So going back to the kind of lounge area by the pool bar, There's a set of stairs, so up this set of stairs is actually more seating, more of a lounge area, but this is the smoking section in the adult area. And that concludes deck 13. On to the last deck, deck 14. Lastly is deck 14, which only has things accessible to guests in the forward of the ship. This is a little difficult to get to since there's only certain elevators that go all the way up to deck 14. So starting the tour from the deck 13 elevator shaft in the forward and walking out these glass doors towards the Toy Story Splash Zone and the Slidosaurus Rex, and following on the port side of the ship up this spiral staircase here, which brings you to one of the smoking sections aboard the ship. So all of these tables are set up with ashtrays, and this is a dedicated smoking section aboard the ship. And here we have the Currents bar, and once again we are just forward of the forward funnel. Following around now on the starboard side of the ship, heading forward still, we have some more seating areas up here to the left. And then all the way down here, we have probably one of the least crowded pools aboard the Disney Wish, because it's so tucked away and so far separated from the rest of the pools. And here we have the Chip 'n Dale's pool, which is complete with a kind of seating area with the waterfall down your back, as well as some showers before getting in the pool as well. And this is just forward of the ship's horn, so this could get kind of loud if you are here while the horn is being blown, but otherwise it's a very secluded area and very secluded pool. And past this pool, now walking on the port side of the ship, we come across once again the smoking area, and that will conclude our tour of deck 14 and our tour of the Disney Wish. So that will do it for our full tour of the Disney Wish. Be sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and comment below for any questions you might have about cruising or the Disney Wish specifically. And be sure to tune in next week when we start our next cruise adventure. And I will not spoil the details yet, but be sure to tune in. So that will do it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.